Out of all of the stories that we covered this year, this one might just be the one that baffled me the most. I was sitting there trying to figure out, trying to get in every little wrinkle and corner and nook and cranny of my brain to figure this bad boy out. I couldn't do it. I mean, I got some hypotheses, but I don't know if they're true. It's just thinking out loud, basically. Get this, quote, Senators Bob Menendez, Democrat of New Jersey, and Mark Kirk, Republican of Illinois, are threatening to push the United States towards war with Iran, circulating and planning to introduce a sanctions bill despite warnings that it could derail nuclear negotiations at a delicate moment. So I read that, I thought, why? Why are you doing that? Now I have so many problems with President Obama, it would take me forever to list them. I mean, you guys know this. From the horrific illegal drone war, to the NSA, to the restriction of civil liberties at home, to Guantanamo Bay still being open, to not doing enough to address poverty, to not getting single payer. I can go on and on. So I got no problem critiquing President Obama. But guess what? This is one area where he does not deserve critique. This is one area where he deserves nothing but praise. Him and John Kerry, and again, I got many problems with John Kerry too. Mr. Uber war hawk, let's go to Syria today. Couldn't stand that, he was dead wrong. But on the issue of Iran, they're finally doing something good. We had a peace deal. We got peace. Now, what were the details of the deal? We talked about this on the show before. You could see it on YouTube. I lay it out in pretty specific detail. But it's very simple. We loosen up some sanctions, not all, some sanctions, in return for a guarantee that they will never get nuclear weapons. And, the IAEA, the International Atomic Energy Agency, gets to go in there and do regular inspections to make sure that they're abiding by this. It's only everything that anybody from anywhere on the political spectrum could ask for. Hey, they're promising not to get a nuclear weapon and we're opening trade. Why are we not, throwing a parade and doing cartwheels and holding hands and singing Kumbaya and looking at rainbows together, staring dreamily into each other's eyes? Everybody should be celebrating. Now, there was a slight bump in the road in recent days when it came to the peace deal, because supposedly the U.S. tried to sneak in a provision at the last second that would have stopped business happening between certain companies, and that pissed off Iran, so they're like, look, change that or there's no deal. So there's still bumps in the road, there's no doubt about that. But the main goal of the neoconservatives and the Democrats was, we just need to know that they're not going to get nuclear weapons. Mission accomplished! But they're saying, no, we're going to put more sanctions on them, fuck up the peace process, and push us further towards World War III, even though we're getting exactly what we wanted. It just simply doesn't make any sense. Now, here's my speculation. I mean, there's only one of two possible things here. The first piece of speculation is that Senator Bob Menendez and Mark Kirk and all these different Republicans and Democrats in Congress, they are so tremendously bought by the military-industrial complex that they think, well, oh goodness, we can't have these F-22s sit in the desert in Nevada forever. We can't have these tanks sit in the desert in Nevada forever. All this armament we're making, well, we got to use it on something. Do sanctions. Let's try to start a war somewhere. It's either that, which I agree is somewhat conspiratorial. I mean, I don't think people are evil and they're like, whoa, let's start war. It's more subtle than that. There's a lot more rationalizing that goes into it. But, I mean, what's the only other possibility? They're idiots? Yeah, that's it. I mean, we have a peace deal, and you're saying we're anti-peace. We would like to not get what we say we wanted and then just, threaten you more and sanction you more and then try to start a war. Well, there's just simply no explanation for that. There's no explanation whatsoever. And again, the final piece of irony here, and I always try to talk about this when we bring up Iran. Remember, we overthrew the government of Iran in 1953 and installed a dictator, the Shah. They had a democracy. Mohammad Mossadegh was a moderate leader, okay, in a democracy. We overthrew him and put in somebody to help us. That is insanity. But now, people in the U.S., how soon they forget history. They go, no, how dare they want a nuclear weapon? That's crazy. We can't trust them with that. They might use it. But we gave them a reason to want self-defense when we overthrew their government. And we're going to lecture other people about using nukes when we're the only country in the world that used them, and we did it on civilians? I mean, the irony is just overwhelming. Like, I'm amazed at how brazen the U.S. is in their denseness. People like Menendez and people like Kirk.